Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
One of my favorite memories growing up, especially when we used to go camping trips or even just simply going to the park with family members, was to basically lay down on the grass and look up to the sky. Just watching the stars, the moon, it was always such a fun and relaxing experience for me and everyone alongside tuning in right now. But what if I told you that now you can actually bring sky watching to wherever you want to be? A lot of the times we think whenever we talk about sky watching, we think of big telescopes, big equipment, but sometimes it could be as simple as just taking the time out of your day to go ahead and do it. And now, right here in the heart of Sharjah, Mleiha Archaeological Center is making it a lot easier. They have launched a new on-the-move sky watching experience that allows all of us to go ahead and enjoy an exclusive stargazing session at any preferred location. So this is actually coming, as I've mentioned, from the Mleiha Archaeological Center, and it's going to be bringing a high-definition telescope and assistance from an expert guide to the location that you choose. So if you don't know what it is that you're looking at, especially if you're looking through a telescope, now you'll have an expert tell you exactly what every star is and what does it symbolize. Now, the on-the-move activity will actually be a true treat for anyone who is an astronomy enthusiast. If you are in love of observing the wonders of the night sky from your comfort zone, now your dreams have come true. Also, it's actually going to be a great experience for all the young ones, especially with distance learning that we've been going through the past about 2 years, year and a half. It's been difficult for them to be able to kind of visualize whatever it is that they're learning. They're outside the classroom. They don't have any physical models that they look at, but nature is here to serve the purpose. And this is exactly why now I'm going to be telling you exactly how you can go ahead and book your very own experience, personalized session, whether it was for you as an adult or even for your young ones, because it could definitely teach them a lot more about science. So this experience can actually be booked right here in Sharjah, either for private sessions or group events. However, before booking, you do need to go ahead and check the location pin. So you have to share your location pin in advance to make sure that the location is fit for the stargazing activity, because we know that certain locations may not work out. The location needs to be accessible using 4x4 vehicles, and it needs to have a flat area so that you can go ahead and cover it with a carpet and set up the telescope right above it. Once again, this is all going to be prepared for you. You don't have to do anything but take the time out of your day. If you're looking at creating this as basically like a group activity or taking maybe your entire family with you, well, good news is the stargazing experience can actually accommodate up to 20 guests at one time, and they actually take a maximum duration of 2 hours post-sunset, which is basically the perfect time for you to be able to witness whether it was the bloody moon or even the beauty of the stars at that time. So make sure you go ahead and make your booking about 24 hours in advance. As I've mentioned, you can find all the details and all the booking link itself on the Mleiha Archaeological Center. All you'll have to do is book 24 hours in advance, and the Mleiha team will be able to complete all the preparations for you at that location before sunset. Now, looking at costs, I find it actually very convenient, especially if you're looking at a big event. So for up to 20 guests, if you want to have 20 people at a time, the cost would be about 1,650 dirhams, which basically makes it a great destination for everyone who wants to go ahead and kind of make a bonding experience and travel without necessarily leaving the country. There have also been going ahead and implementing all effective health and safety protocols. So during your stargazing session, don't worry about COVID-19 because they do have social distancing in place. Everyone who's going to be meeting up with you, the expert guy, they have all been tested. So you'll be safe as you explore the night sky. Let me know what your thoughts are, and do you enjoy sky watching? Let's be honest over here, especially when the weather is nice and cool. Do you enjoy looking out at the night sky? And do you feel like you should be doing it more often? Because I'm thinking I should be doing it more often. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a mistake that we all go through whenever we find free Wi-Fi. The first thing we do is go ahead and connect to it without taking a second thought on what are the risks. To find out more about it, keep Pulse 95 locked, and we'll be right back.
This is Future Talk. This is Future Talk. www. and more. It's Pulse 95.
Let's have a moment of honesty over here. How many times do you go ahead and connect to public Wi-Fi? Especially the free Wi-Fi that you find in restaurants and malls. The minute you enter it, if you don't have a 3G or a cellular data package, you just find it a lot easier to go ahead and open the Wi-Fi option, connect, not taking a second thought. Well, we have some bad news over here. I think bad news that we've revealed before on Future Talk, but just a kind reminder, since right here in the UAE, all the policies have actually been reminding us of all the dangers of using public Wi-Fi. Abu Dhabi Digital Authority in specific has actually been warning all residents whenever they want to go ahead and connect to public Wi-Fi, because cyber criminals are on the prowl and they are actually duping unsuspecting users. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick experience on my thoughts of cyber crimes, because I don't know if you've come across these WhatsApp messages, but a lot of banks, quote unquote, banks have actually been WhatsApping, which never happens. It's not your true bank. It's a hacker acting like they're your bank, or whether it was Sharjah Islamic Banks, Emirates NBD, you name it, they've been sending WhatsApp messages saying, go ahead, beware, because your account is blocked, it's ending, you need to go ahead and call this number, text this number, all of your credit card details, credentials, etc. And we've always heard the reminders. We've always been reminded that we should not go ahead and trust those, because your bank is never going to ask for your credit card credentials, let alone text you on WhatsApp. What happened to phone calls? And even on phone calls, they're not going to be asking for private details. But going back to public Wi-Fi, I think the biggest threat to free Wi-Fi security is the ability of any hacker to basically position himself or herself between you and the connection point. So let's imagine you, the router, and then the hacker in between. Once you connect to public Wi-Fi, they're right there. They're right there talking to you directly to the hotspot, sending you information, but also taking all of your information. So let's say you're on public Wi-Fi and you decide to check out online, whether it was any other online website or the online website you're on. You go ahead and you enter your business card details, you enter your email, you enter your credit card information, all those he has or she has access to them. So it's quite risky, and Abu Dhabi Digital Authority has actually been constantly reminding us of the growing risks of connecting to public Wi-Fi, because hackers have actually been using them to gather sensitive data about us, and then they use them against us. So what can we do? What if you don't have any internet and you have no other option but to use public Wi-Fi? There are certain tips and tricks around it, one of them being to use a VPN. Now, we've heard really bad things about VPN. They still remain true, but whenever you're connecting to public Wi-Fi and you use VPN, whatever it is that you're going ahead and surfing stays on your phone. That's A. B, another tip to go around it is to go ahead and turn off sharing. So if you don't want to share anything with friends or family, you can go ahead on your macOS, iPhone, Android, and just turn off what we call AirDrop or Quick Share. This will help also keep your information a little bit more private. Also, when you've used your Wi-Fi, you've texted your mom, your friend, whatever it is, turn it off after you're done using it, because that way, whatever information you're using on your phone, at least the hacker does not have access to that. Whenever the Wi-Fi is turned off on the device, then your security measures are still in place and the hackers can be away from all of your information. Now, as we've mentioned, even if the public Wi-Fi requires you to go ahead and enter a password, enter your email, that does not make it any more safe, because your online activities are not safe. The hacker could still access them very easily, and we've actually been seeing a lot of attacks ever since COVID-19 became a part of our lives, because people have been logging online a lot more often than they used to. Now, another quick tip for anyone who also wants to go ahead and continue using public Wi-Fi is to go ahead and update your softwares. Your operating system on your phone needs to be updated so that your phone can basically be vaccinated. They have all the precautionary measures, the safety shields that you want to talk about. They can go ahead and fight any bug that enters your phone. If your phone is not updated, then there's going to be a little bit of a loop, and any malware that the hacker can go ahead and install through that public Wi-Fi will be easily installed on your phone. Let me know, how often do you connect to public Wi-Fi? And what do you think of it? Do you think it's worth the risk, or would you rather just either stay without Wi-Fi until you get home if you don't have access to 3G or you don't have a package? Or would you rather take the risk? Our text lines are open, 4215 Dur Salat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. Coming up, one of the most exciting stories for today is a new face mask. It's an air purifier that comes with a microphone and a speaker. Is it worth your money? Keep Pulse 95 locked to find out more about it.
Gadget of the day.
New tech you might want to play with.
Pulse 95.
Out of all the weird masks that we've discussed on Future Talk, I think this was the one to last. LG's Purifier air mask has actually been making headlines, but also people have been wearing it. I've come across two people who wore it proudly. It looked actually quite comfortable. It looked like a cloud on their face because it has all that memory foam cushioning around the sides that made it very comfortable for them to wear. But also in the summer heat, I wish I had one because it also comes with like a little bit of a mini AC that keeps the air cool. But LG have decided to create yet another purifier air mask. This one, though, does not muffle your voice anymore. I think one of the most annoying things about wearing masks, apart from the fact that it's really hot, they're uncomfortable, is the fact that they muffle your voice. Yet, even with all the uncomfortableness that they cause, we do need to still wear them. Yeah, LG is giving us a little bit of a solution for this issue because they have decided to come up with an update on that face mask, and this is mainly aimed towards the Thai athletes because of the Tokyo Games that are coming up in a few days. Now, LG have decided to upgrade the high-tech Puricare mask by adding a microphone and a speaker. So now they can go ahead and communicate with their loved ones in a much clearer way. So the mini megaphone will be embedded within that face mask, and what made the LG Puricare face mask have so much hype last August, it was actually launched about a year ago, was the fact that it had built-in fans, replaceable air filters, and it's reusable. So you didn't have to invest as much in a face mask because once you do that big investment, all you have to do is just buy more air filters. Also, it's very sustainable to the environment because if you just take a second to think about it, we use all those one-use face masks and then we just throw them away. So this mask has actually been gaining a lot of traction from different people, apart from the fact that because it's so thick, because it's so cushioned, the person in front of you can't necessarily hear what you're saying. So they've added the new microphone and speaker by using their very own voice-on technology. And this has actually been seemingly solving this problem. You're not muted when you talk. People can hear you a lot better when you're having a conversation, and you don't have to take off your face mask. I think one of the most frustrating things is when someone is wearing a face mask and you come to talk to them and they take off the face mask. Like, this kind of defeats the whole purpose of wearing a face mask. Now, the voice on automatically, that technology that they've used, it automatically recognizes when you're talking and it will amplify your voice. So it kind of creates like a microphone effect, and it does not cause your voice to be strained, and you don't have to necessarily repeat every word that you're saying. However, what's annoying is that LG is actually not the first company to come up with such a face mask. We've heard of another company known as Razer that have actually been coming up with masks similar to this for its gaming hardware. But yet we haven't heard of them. We haven't heard anyone use these masks because, yet again, LG is a big name. Now, the new Puricare face mask, the new update to it, also has a smaller motor. So that makes it a lot lighter on the face, which, again, it's a great feature to have when you're going to be wearing that face mask on a day-to-day basis. It also has one of the most advanced wearable technology, which basically means that it can pick up on your voice even if you're only whispering. But the main reason why LG decided to launch this mask at this time specifically is because it has actually been worn by a lot of coaches, by a lot of athletes in different games. And now that we've seen Tokyo Olympics actually start on Friday, this mask will be launched in Thailand very soon so that they can go ahead and make the most out of it. And LG likes to flaunt by saying, take it from the best athletes in Thailand. If they use it, then that just shows that they're actually very, very heavy. handy. Let us know what your thoughts are, and would you ever switch to LG's wearable air purifier? Have you seen anyone wearing it? I've actually seen it, and if you're wondering what it looks like, it basically has a white exterior. The sides of it are gray, and it basically looks like you're wearing a helmet, but it's just for your mouth and your nose. Our text lines are open for 215 Do It to Salat, or slide into our DMs at Pulse 95 Radio. I want to hear your thoughts on this new gadget. But coming up on the show, we're talking all about Instagram now becoming our own translator. If you've seen any foreign influencers and you've been very frustrated that you can't find out or understand what they're saying, Instagram has a solution for this issue.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
This is a feature that I'm so happy and excited that it's finally out on Instagram. I don't know about you guys, but I personally follow a lot of people that I don't necessarily understand all the languages that they speak, especially Turkish influencers, Instagram influencers. Sometimes they'll go ahead and speak in Turkish about certain products, certain bags, makeup, fashion, even places that they recommend, and they won't understand what is it that they're saying. But now Instagram is making it a lot easier and connecting us even amidst any language barrier. They're adding a new option that will automatically translate all the text in any Instagram story. I know, it's genius, and I don't know why it's not been out a while ago. Now, this option is easily available when you look at the upside left corner of any Instagram story. You'll see a little tiny text that says see translation option on the top left of the screen. You go ahead and you tap it, and you'll immediately see the translation of whatever it is that Instagram influencer is saying at the bottom of the story. Now, the new translation feature will be available globally, and it currently supports over 90 languages. Can you imagine? So now you can follow anyone who's from anywhere. It doesn't matter if they speak Russian, if they speak German, you'll easily understand it through Instagram's translation feature. And it makes, for influencers, they can have now a much bigger international audience. Now, one thing that comes to mind, though, is how accurate is this translation? Because if we take a second to think about our very good friend, Google Translate, how many times do we ask it for help whenever we want to translate something quickly? But how many times is it accurate? Not all the time. So that's definitely going to be a big hurdle that I feel like Instagram will have to basically advance over time to make sure that this feature is usable. Because at the end of the day, you want to understand whatever that person is saying correctly. You don't want to misunderstand what content that they're sharing. Now, this feature was actually caught, and one app researcher caught on it before it was launched. So back in 2016, Instagram actually launched translations for comments, captions, and user bios. However, they did not launch it with the stories, which was a big frustration because a lot of the times, like with a caption, you can maybe go ahead and copy it and paste it on Google Translate. But with an Instagram story, that person is having a conversation with their followers. You can't necessarily capture everything that they're saying and using a website or an application to go ahead and translate it. But even though this new feature can go ahead and translate text, Instagram did say that audio translation is not available all the time. So sometimes it may lag, and that's an issue because they're still trying to perfect it. It will take some time for it to be available all the time. Although given Instagram did roll out automatic caption for English stories back in May, I don't know if you guys have caught on that, but a lot of the times, if an influencer will enable it, or if you yourself enable that feature, whatever it is that you're saying, Instagram will transcribe it on your story automatically. So even if you're listening to a story on mute, or if you're outside with a lot of people, you can still understand what the influencer or what the person is saying without necessarily hearing them out loud. So I'm very excited for the day where they go ahead and just launch this feature for everyone to enjoy, because I think it's gonna definitely help all the Instagram influencers out there, but help us fellow users that want to understand what foreign influencers are saying. Let me know your thoughts. Have you seen this feature? Have you seen it available on your own Instagram stories, and what do you think of it?
Check this out. Check this out. Pulse 95.
It is time for us to talk about weird tech. And whenever we talk about weird tech, you better believe robots are involved. But this time around, robots are helping us get dressed. Now, especially whenever we're talking about kids and people of determination, getting dressed can be a very daunting job, task, you name it, because they either want to feel independent, or with the case of kids, they run around too much for you to be able to put on a shirt and a pair of pants without necessarily burning a lot of calories. But scientists from MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Laboratory have recently created a new algorithm that will help a robot find all the efficient moves, motion plans that they can use to make sure that they can get the job done without necessarily damaging their own parts. Now, a quick lesson about robotics. Some of the easiest tasks that we find as humans, they struggle with big time. You name it, whether it was picking up certain items off of the ground, whether it was cutting hair. I remember we talked about a YouTuber who was able to create a robot to cut hair, but he struggled so much in making sure that this robot was being as precise as it could with the movements. So whenever it comes to simple moves like getting dressed, picking up items from the floor, from the trash, robots really struggle with that. And robot researchers struggle with creating algorithms that can help these robots do all those tasks without physically harming themselves or anyone around them. So a new robot researcher named Shen Li was able to create a robot that cannot have any harmful impact on those humans. So they've been able to find different movements, different trajectories for these robots to be able to follow and help us and those who they have limited mobility, they have any form of disability, they have, let's say, like kids who have ADHD. They can actually entertain them as they put their clothes on them. Now, human modeling, safety, and efficiency have actually been some of the biggest aspects that these researchers have been keeping in mind. So whenever you have one of those robots shipped to your home, they will come with a default mode. And that default mode basically says that it can deal with X amount of people, X type of people. So making it personalized will take time. And that's yet another thing that robot researchers are trying to teach that robot that can dress humans, because a screaming toddler will react differently to putting on a coat or a shirt than an elderly person would, or a person with people of determination, or a person with any disability. So this is exactly why these robots have been able to basically create a different style of motion, a different way of operating based on the person in front of them. It takes some time for this robot to be able to kind of study the person in front of them. It will take some time to get to know you, and then once it does, it will know exactly what you need to make the dressing task basically happen in a much shorter period of time. So I think it's actually quite interesting for people to go ahead and start testing this robot, since it comes within two models. One model will basically move with the human during the dressing period. The other model will move down during the dressing period. So there's a lot of algorithms that are actually associated with it, but no matter how the person is moving up or down, the trajectory will be found. That robot will get to know you and will dress you up very easily. Let me know what your thoughts are about this story. Just want to get your hands on one of those robots. MIT is coming up with great achievement that we will be sharing on Future Talk, just like always. Future Talk is coming to an end, but I hope you have enjoyed this hour with me. Hani Balqis will be joining us very soon as he gets his well-deserved leave as well. But you can catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place, from 2 to 3 p.m. If you've missed the show, you can catch it also on Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, and also YouTube at Pulse 95 Radio. You can catch all of our previous shows every single day. I want to wish you a beautiful start to your week, a very productive Sunday, and keep Pulse 95 locked because coming up is the afternoon karak with the Dream Team, Aisha Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyeh. They'll be sharing with you all the new trends that are happening in pop culture, all the shows and movies that you should be watching as we enjoy summer break for all those who are in school. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you again tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.